Hello and welcome back to Aurora 4X. I totally haven't just recorded this one right after the previous one. That would be ridiculous. So, I'm having a lot of fun with this, and this game's going fantastically, so I figured I'll just keep going, and we will try and get the ships built. So that's going to be 2062, unless we get some shipbuilding rate, which is down the line a ways. Got a lot of things queued up, which I think I'll actually move this up because I want ships built faster. So as soon as fuel production is done in September, aka basically 2 ticks, we will have shipyard production, or shipbuilding rate being worked on. Terraforming rate is done, and now we need to look at what do we want to research next. Now, our ships are already built, and we're going to keep that tech level until we feel the need to build a new class of ships, which will be destroyers. They'll operate similar to the fighters, similar to the frigates, but instead of like the frigates are more all around, the destroyers are going to focus more on getting more weaponry and have less range, but have the same speed as a fast frigate. So we need to get better sensor tech. We need to get this, but sensor tech is a very high priority because better sensors means we can make better, make longer range missiles. We can make better detection systems. We'll be able to set up everything we need for proper system defense. Another thing we want to work on is a shore defense force, and I say shore defense. It's more like the Coast Guard in space. We'll have corvettes, we'll have gunboats, missile boats, patrol boats. Fighter bases, things like that, designed to protect our colonies while allowing us to have the control of individual ships rather than dealing with rather than firing missiles at enemies from afar. And I just realized I'm doing hand motions to demonstrate what I'm trying to say, which you all of course cannot see. So the shipbuilding rate is going to be done at the beginning of next year. So we'll keep going for that. Luna's still complaining, but hopefully we can stop that. Now, I did realize something after setting up all these things to be built. I realized, hold on a second, we're still in a corundium shortage. So I checked the costs. Luckily, the Dragon only takes 96 corundium, so that's about 100, and similarly, and the Goblin, so that's 2 of them, so we have 200 corundium there. The Goblin only takes about 39, so that's about 235, really. Well, no, it's 231, yeah. About roughly guesstimated. By guesstimated, I mean rounded a bit oddly. So, we're fine on corundium. I believe the Golem doesn't even use corundium, yeah, because it's a missile frigate. It doesn't care about corundium. It uses more tritanium, I believe. Yeah, it uses tritanium instead, which is fine. I understand that. It's a missile frigate. It's gotta use tritanium. That's sort of what it is. So, I'm happy with that. We won't have issues building the missile frigates. We're gonna stick with 2 missile frigates for now, because that'll be enough to deal with early enemies. The ASMs are done. So, yeah, ordnance factories have just been pumped out. Like, it's great. Let's get, now that we've got enough to deal with basic maintenance, 840 more. That's a lot, I know, but the goal there is that we will have enough that it won't be a major issue later on. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go to missiles, and I'm going to obsolete conventional ICBMs, because, I mean, look, range, endurance, speed, everything is so much worse. Like, the warhead is even weaker. We could deal more damage than an ICBM with our size 6 missile. No, obsolete. It's no longer necessary. It's not that good anymore. Size 6 ASMs, yeah. So we're gonna hit the research on shipbuilding right now. We're working on mining production. I'm probably gonna queue up another shipbuilding rate. So those will be done now in 2061. Well, end of 2061, so it'll basically 2062. Let's also order up another one? Yeah, another shipbuilding rate. And we will again move it to the top of the queue. So as soon as we finish mining production, which we need to get anyways, we'll queue up the shipbuilding rate. And then at the end we'll add fuel production and fighter production. Because soon we're going to start looking at fighters. Shortly after we go into destroyers, we're going to be looking at fighters and technology there. Now we also, of course, need to decide whether higher priority should be on system defense through shore defense forces, or if we want to get into building better projection of power forces, like destroyers and carriers and all that. I'm sort of leaning towards not projection of power, but shore defense, because I've not really done anything shore defense-wise. My last game, which was going great, I didn't even have I had a PDC, but it was a fighter defense base, and I didn't realize it gave no power or no planet protection value. Yeah, don't know why it didn't. It provided more firepower than a missile base would have, but they didn't care. So that's not the best, but you know, it's fine. I can work with it. So we need to get better capacitors, we need to reduce fuel consumption, we need better fuel, we need better jump drive efficiency, we need better drives for squadron size. I don't really care about jump radius, but I might later. Missile agility needs to go up, missile speed needs to go up, missile power needs to go up. Yeah, there's all sorts of things to research. But I think if we're looking at doing shore defense, let's focus on getting the necessary parts for that. So that is, we need to get boat bays, so that then we can get hangar decks. We need engineering section fighter, probably not, but I'll have it just in case we need it for actual design of corvettes and such, because, you know, they're gonna probably need a bit of ability to repair, maybe. And we can also start looking at improving our infantry. And that's just so that in case we run into aliens, we have the tech to fight them. So we'll wait until thermal reduction is done in October, and yeah, that's fine. Never mind, I got a bit confused for a moment. So we'll wait until October, and then we'll queue up the techs to begin work on fighter bases, and then we'll start getting techs for our our infantry. That's the word I was looking for. Infantry, that's a word. Time did not go there. Oh, it did. Just nothing happened. There we go. Mining production. Shipbuilding rate has commenced. We keep going. Shipbuilding rate 750 should greatly reduce the time to complete shipbuilding. Ordnance factories completed. We're not going to use we're not going to make automated mines right now because we don't have the resources to really do it. What do we need? Well, we need a naval shipyard complex because we're going to be constructing ships that are fast attack craft. So they're not going to be fighters, so we can't make them at fighter factories. So let's make a naval shipyard complex for fast attack craft, and let's queue up 100 fighter factories. So that goes down, and that goes up, and that goes up as well. So now everything's working. Do we need more maintenance facilities? No, we're fine for now. So we're going to design PDCs, and later we'll probably have platforms and stuff, and really just vary our planetary defense, have a whole bunch of things we can work with. For now, we do not need that much. If we can get fighters on the field and get some type of defensiveness for our fleet, then that's fine. In order to design fighters, though, we're going to need the tech to properly outfit them. And to do that, we're going to use our weighting thermal reduction tech that's just down the line. There we go. Thermal signature reduction. Let's add more to here. Like, let's get everyone on shipbuilding rate. Or at least enough that it'll get done. Yeah, it won't happen like I'd like it to. So let's remove a few. Yeah, that's good. let's get started on something else now. Logistics and ground combat, we need boat bays. Let's start with a boat bay small. We're not going to use that at all, but let's have it just in case we want it. Alex Page is our current best in logistics and ground combat, and it's enough that this guy's not better. So we're going to stick with this guy. It'll take a while at the current rate, but that'll be changed shortly once we finish shipbuilding rate. So we'll go 5 days. Well, no, we're going to design the engines. Yeah, since we can do that. It's thermal signature reduction down, and I'm only going to use size 1 engines. Now, I'm also going to increase... These seem more like fighter engines now that I think about it. Because this is what I would use for a fighter. Like this exact setup. This would be my first generation fighters, and they would do pretty well. However, when I'm designing a fast attack craft, I'm probably going to work with slightly less, I want to have slightly more fuel efficiency. Not way more, like maybe 1.5. And still maybe half the ship dedicated to propulsion. Maybe change that to 1/3 so it's faster than my core ships, but 1/3 of, 20 isn't easy. Let's see, 1/4 would give us lower speed than I'd like. Let's see, if we have a 1.5 times a 5 size engine, 120, we're looking at a 20 size, that's 6,000. Right? No, that's not. My numbers are being really confused now. I'm gonna do the calculations properly rather than sitting here being ridiculous about it. So let's see, 120, we have 1 engine, we divide that by 20, we get 6, yeah, that's 6,000, that's slower than our frigates. So that's not good enough. If we go for 10 and make half the ship engine, then we've got 12,000, and that is better than our current ships, but than our core fleet, but do we have enough space then for everything else that we're gonna need? I don't think so. What if we go with size 8? So it would really just save us 2 hull spaces there, but we still get, I think our target speed here is 10,000, so we get 192 divided by 20. I typed that in wrong, 192 divided by 20. That's 9,600. I'm happy with that as a speed for corvettes and such, which then we'd have some space for putting in extra things, then we can start putting in weapons. It'll be probably reduced size, so maybe we could use gauze or something. We'll have to see there. Yeah, fast attack craft engine. Pretty powerful, rather large for a small vessel, but it provides good fuel efficiency because we're going for larger rather than a bunch of small engines. And we'll be able to use that, yeah, so let's create that. And we won't add it to the research right now, we'll add it once we get everything else done. And should we make a fighter engine yet? No, we're not looking at making fighters yet. So that's an expensive engine. Just felt I should point that out real quick. That's expensive. But we're going to go 30 days. And we're going to keep going until our research is done. And I'm just going to click independently now. So shipbuilding rate is done, which means we don't need that many people here anymore. So we're going to remove down to 20, and how long is it going to take now? July, October is our latest one. So that's going to be done pretty quickly. We're going to add 7 people here, at least. Nah, 7 is fine. And make sure we've got the next boat bay queued up as well. And we'll go ahead and queue up the engineering section fighter and the fuel storage tiny and all that we're actually going to need. Then, we want to go power and propulsion, and we want to research this engine with our current best power and propulsion person, who's right there. And that'll be done in 2 ticks and a month. Boat bays being researched. can we do the hangar deck research? Can we queue that up? Because we're only really going to use hangar decks. Why would I ever use boat bays? They're pretty pathetic. Logistics ground combat, hangar deck. No, we need to complete boat bay first. Should have done it in the other order. Oh well. So that'll be done in March. If we take a look at our class design now, which is still open over here. New. So this is, we're going to probably start with, just give me a moment. I'm going to pop up my reference spreadsheets. Alright, so looking at the reference sheets, it seems like corvettes are going to act as more of the central part of our force. So I'm going to build a corvette. And corvettes are going to be designed as lightweight anti-ship vehicles, so they're going to probably run lasers, but they're not going to use missiles. Not missiles, that's not the point of them. So Corvette, which will be... I don't know the designation thing for Corvette. They don't really tell you the designation stuff, which I wish they did. We'll set it for a 1-month deployment time, I think. We'll change that as we go along. Design view, remove the bridge, not necessary. We'll probably remove the engineering spaces. We use refresh tech, use this engine, which will give us right now 12,000, but we haven't fit our full size yet. We removed the fuel storage large because that's not what we need. We're going to cut this down to 0.5 for now. And what are we going to need in this design? Well, we need a fire control, and specifically we need one that can do the range or the tracking speed we've got, which isn't really that much. But do we want to make a whole new active sensor, or not active sensor, beam fire control? We will need active sensors on these as well, but I think I can get those to work, maybe. Might use smaller ones to fit with the budget tech stuff. If we use electronic hardening and we say that, and yeah, I have normal range 3 times. That would be perfect. 1.5 hull spaces, really keeps us on a budget. Let's design the weapon first. So we have 2 choices here. Number 1, we use a gauze cannon. 6 hull spaces, 3 shots every 5 seconds. It deals very little damage. That's the downside of a gauze cannon in this case. The other is we use a 12 centimeter laser, or even a 10 centimeter, gives slightly more damage output, which it also requires a power source, which we can provide. We've got that kind of stuff. Let's see. Could we fit a turret on here? No, that's not even, that's ridiculous. We don't need a turret. We're moving so quickly on these things. Max range, 160,000 kilometers. We wouldn't need the full 32,000. We could cut that down to 50% size. Laser size of 4 hull spaces. What if we don't have reduced size lasers? We could stand to use a slightly reduced size laser to get more damage output in one shot, even if it does mean we shoot a bit slower. But these things are going to be moving quickly, so we don't really need to worry about getting extreme rate of fire. So let's consider that as an option. Of course, then we need to provide more power for them, but we've reduced the size, so it's going to be easier. Alright, so here's what I'm thinking. We go to energy weapons, and we add reduced size laser. That'll be done in September, which is a ways out, but we'll go to it. We'll go all the way to September, so that we can design little corvettes and such. Another thing we're going to need to get into the research line is we're going to need to make missile boats, which will be not too difficult. We can use small missiles, which we'll be designing pretty soon, for bombers anyways. So, or we could even try and give them a size 6 missile just on a really low reload rate. And missile boats, we're not going to set them up as a reload once and then go back. We're not going to use box launchers, that's a waste. Missile boats are plenty good as they are. We need to make them better. Queue it up on that one and move it up as high as we can. There we go. Make sure it's above all the other Alex Page ones. Really only had to click it once, but oh well. So each hangar deck will hold one Corvette. We'll hold one of our fast attack craft. We don't have many fast attack craft around the place. That should be all the stuff we need to actually make this work. So, engineering section fighter will only help if we really feel like we need it, which I don't think we will. Which is why I'm considering moving it down. But I won't. I'll let it finish. Shipyard tasks. We're looking at July of this year, so we're getting pretty close to building our Dragon-class frigates. What in the world? Did I... Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. I'm stupid. I ordered up 840 conventional ICBMs because I was like, I need to get rid of these. That was a lot of time wasted. So that'll take until 2062. Sorry about that. Should have known better. Whew. Storm Harvester's done. They're looking into new jump gate construction modules. Keep going. Now I can do months and minimize the time wasted in between shipbuilding stuff. Fighter factories are done for when we eventually start building fighters and the Dragon class. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is queue up two Golem classes. I like the fact that we have Goblin and Golem in the same one, and Dragon. It's pretty good. I like it. Although I feel like the long-range missile frigate would have been better as the Dragon. But oh well, that's fine. Don't really care about the details there. So we've got those coming down the line. We've got another slipway being built, and it's almost done. We could... Well, that's going to be done in October. These are going to be done December of the next year, so we'll be looking at like 3 extra months for construction of an extra one. We want to wait that long. Because we could, once this slipway gets done, add an extra one to the line to be built, so we have 3 golems being built, and then once the goblin is done, we add a 4th. Yeah, let's do that. 30 days. Slipway added. Reduce size laser researched. So let's see, can we reduce laser size more? We could, but do I want to? 20 times recharge. It's not worth it. So now we need to designate something new to work on. So let's start working on clearing up all the techs in here. We need those techs, we need better sensors. We add some there. I realize we have a much better sensors fire control person there. I think you'll find we still have no one for construction production. He's our best guy. Well, she's our best guy. She. Very specific. So now that we have that reduced size laser, let's close this, reopen, lasers. So, we're looking at rate of fire of 20 seconds. However, we could fit more of them onto one ship, which is why I'm leaning towards using this. In fact, I'm leaning towards it so much that I'm very much considering just putting it in. Is it even worth putting in? Yeah, it's worth putting that in. Never mind. Yeah, better. 12 centimeter C1 ultraviolet laser. Create. So it's not going to be ridiculously powerful. It's just 4 damage. It'll have some decent armor piercing. I mean, that's 4 damage in lasers is pretty good. Also, we can order up another golem now. Whoops, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Construct a golem. Add task. Research. Let's remove these 5 to then send someone into energy weapons to research this and say that. Yep, and that'll be done next month. Like exactly a month. Watch. Yep, more than a month. Great. I promised a month. And refresh tech. We now have a C1 ultraviolet laser. Instead of 2 of them. How much space do we have left? A decent amount. We only need 2 power. And on Corvettes like this, I'd be willing to do a bit more budgeting, which is why I'm going to look into that. But we can add more of these. Not many more. Okay. I think we might find ourselves in a bit of a pickle. So, we cannot afford 3 more hull spaces. That's not an option with our current stuff. We still need fuel. How much range is that? 6.6 billion. And we still need a stellarator on board, which provides 2 power, which is a lot easier to provide, so let's not worry too much about that immediately. 12.5 billion. That would be... Here would be the full range. However, we can only go half of that because it needs to make its way back. What am I even talking about? No. 12.5 billion's way out there. I mean, not what I meant to do there. I appear to be getting a lot of lag. Or, yeah, that's right. Mouse doesn't zoom properly. That explains it. So this is 12 million. We can make it out past Neptune. We can cover all the jump points with our range on our Corvettes. If we double check just to make sure I've got the right numbers here, 12.5. Yeah, wow. Okay. So we've got enough fuel. Don't need any more. Can we just put a... Let's not put a full-size stellarator on, because we could get some... We need a bit more on ship. Remove that stellarator. There we go. So we have 1.8 left. But let's not try and maximize that. Let's go into power plants. We need to create something which outputs 2 power, which is smaller than 0.6, smaller than 0.4, slightly larger than a 0.3. However, we could get a 0.3 to work by using a 15% power boost. Could we get a 0.2 to work on that? No, but a 0.3 would. So we're going to use a 0.3 power boost 1.15 stellarator, which we need to research just like everything else. For some reason, I really enjoy this aspect of it. And there we go. And then we can start working on constructing an active sensor for it. And we're going to use a 20 resolution active sensor because we don't need any more than that. We need to be able to see other fast attack craft, but most of the range needs to be handled by sensor outposts and other things around the system to detect enemies, rather than let's have huge range on our Corvettes, because that's a waste. Research into stellarator, done. So now we open this, we refresh tech, we add in our stellarator. We need a beam fire control still. Oh, I forgot about that. So we're gonna we don't need that. I say that. 14 days, half a month. Yeah, that's about right. Where is it? Power plants is up here. This one. Beam weapons, but no beam fire control. How did I forget this? Well, do we need engineering spaces? It'll fail 2.5%, or it'll fail within a 5-day increment 2.5% of the time. Has a 0 maintenance life, but that's what fast attack craft engines are for. They can go out and save crippled ships, which will be fine. We can do this. So we now have a full 100 tons to work with, which would be 2 hull spaces. We go into beam fire control. We need 3 times tracking speed, but 50% range, because that's our maximum range anyways. 50% accuracy at that range? Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with that. Electric hardening, just because, not fighter only, because this is the fighter, it's a fast attack craft. And anything else we need? So that's 0.7 hull spaces. See, we've cut down costs here incredibly. So yeah, we're making Corvettes. I thought we'd go into a new system. Actually, those will be done in 2062. Let's get the Goblin built, and then let's get our scout group ready to travel to the new system. Alright, that sounds good, and I think that's how we'll end this episode. We will enter the new system. So we still need to research our new fire control for our Corvettes. That guy's got just enough, but I'd rather have more lab capacity on that guy. The Goblin class is done. We will order up the no, I keep going to the wrong one. The last Golem class, and yeah, that task. So our fleet will be done on the 20th of April 2063. It's a ways out. However, it means that we will have 4 guided missile frigates, 2 point defense frigates, and a frigate leader. It will be enough to, well, for one thing, keep Luna pacified, and 2, provide basically everything we could need for other purposes. Yeah, we've given them 62 protection with just a few frigates, so we're fine. Yeah, let's finish designing the Corvette. And missile boats are going to be similar. We're just going to switch out the stuff for missiles and all that. It'll be a bit different, but not too much. We're going to have patrol boats, which are going to be purely sensors. Basically, they're going to we're going to patrol the area every now and then, I think, is what we're going to end up doing, have them patrol the inner system. We'll see how we end up scheduling those. Fire control is done. Fresh tech. We now add the size 0.7 fire control. We need to be able to see 16,000 kilometers plus a bit, which is easy enough on an active sensor. So we say active sensor, resolution of 20 hull spaces, so we can see other fast attack craft. We can currently see on a size 1 10 million kilometers. We don't need that much. 0.5, 5 million. I like 5 million. Against 1,000 ton or larger, we see it at 5 million kilometers. It's not incredible, but let's see, how much space do we actually have to work with? Class design. Yeah, that seems good. We would add a 0.5 size. Might we even have space for... No, we don't have space for another laser. That's not an option. But we could put a second sensor array for longer ranges. I'm reluctant to do that. We could try and fit on a shield, but that's going to waste fuel. We don't have that much fuel. What else can we fit into this extra space? We could just use a size 1 active sensor. I mean, that is entirely an option. Look at that. We don't even need to research a new active sensor. We have a range 10. It's a size 1, not entirely necessary, but, you know, what else are we going to use the space for? How about a bit more range? I like that idea. A tiny fuel storage. Do we not have those yet? Oh, we need to have those done as quickly as possible. Why are you wasting time on the engineering section when the fuel storage more? Let's get all that done. So we're gonna finish the Corvette and send everyone to the new system. Do we send the current combat fleet in too? I say no, because, well, we need to keep Luna on the uptick. I just used the phrase on the uptick unironically. So, you know, I'm serious. We need that up there, because we don't need the hangar deck more than we need fuel storage. 30 days. Fuel storage has commenced. It will be done. I should click the research button instead. In June. Yeah, that's a ways down the line. Yeah, we're taking a lot of time to set up the military to prepare for our first exploration beyond. Which is fine. I like having the preparedness and being ready to do things ahead of time, but maybe I'm putting a bit too much planning into this. There we go. Refresh tech. And it should be noted I still don't have a place to keep these things. We now have fuel storage tiny, which means we can fill out this extra little hole space. I don't want engineering spaces, I want fuel storage. Thing I just researched. Perfect. So it has a range of 16.6 billion kilometers. It just... slightly increase this. So we've got 17 days, we've got a bit of spare deployment time. It's got a 36-man crew. So it is really a Corvette. Like, that's a pretty substantial crew for a small ship. But it does seem more like a Corvette than anything else. Spare berths of 5, so, you know, if we need to recover fighter crews, these guys can go in and deal with it. Basically, Chimeras are going to serve as short-range defense. They're not going to be used in frontline combat. They're going to be kept at systems that we own, but the goal is pretty simple. It's just short-range missions, decent firepower, and get there quickly, get back quickly. Don't necessarily need ridiculously short range that you would get on fighters, or the ridiculously long range of a frigate. Just sort of get the job done. So yeah, that'll be that ship. We will probably... we're gonna wait to retool the shipyard, because we still need to design the base we're gonna store them on, which will be a pretty simple fighter base. We're probably gonna give it some missile defenses, like anti-missile missiles or whatever, just to keep things safe there. I'll do some more designing for that, though, since I need to get designing done there. So let's just double check the range on these things. They can make it beyond Pluto. Like, furthest we could have to go is Sedna, I think. There might be something further out. Yeah, Eris is further out, right? Yeah, but Sedna is just out of range. Like, there's nothing that's really going to require us to get that far out. Well, there's not even anything on Sedna. There's not even anything on Eris. There's just barely something on Nightwing. So there's no reason to bother with them. Alright. So now, we set up our survey. So our first task is we need to split these guys off and rename them Frigate Task Force 1. And I'm actually going to set up Naval Organization later, since I need to still plan out Order of Battle. I'm going to use this screen a lot. I like this screen, especially since I'm going to do a lot of fighters. Now we go Shipyard Task Group. We take the Orcs, we move them to the Basilisk 001. We take the Basilisk 002 and we combine with the Basilisk 001. We save that. And then we rename these as the Survey Task Group, or we'll call it the Recon Task Force. And then we will take these, give them the order of, yeah, we have the orders there set up. Standard transit through jump point 1. Zoom in. 8 day. Yeah, these guys are pretty fast compared to our previous exploration ships. 1 hour. Now 3 hours. 3 hours. 1 hour. And there we go. Our first new system, YZ SETI A, which, if we look at this, I'm willing to bet there aren't aliens in this system. But we'll do a quick scouting just to make sure, run the necessary recon. But there's nowhere good enough for aliens to be. Only place I've ever seen actual aliens at was Barnard Star, and they had a zero-cost planet. Yeah, I doubt that this is home to any aliens, especially since that's liquid ammonia. So, we'll take a look at this system next time, and possibly start working on actual infrastructure to get our shore defense set up. So goodbye.